Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations in Horror, the podcast. I'm your host, Kevin L. Powers. I'm also the owner operator of Something Wicked Entertainment and Events, and I want to welcome you to our program in which I take an individual horror film, and me and my special guest sit down and we discuss, critique, analyze that individual film. Now, this month is a little special for all of you listeners out there, as we are doing our franchise month, which means that we are releasing an episode for each individual film within a given franchise. Now, I know that's a lot to listen to, but you have the whole month to enjoy these amazing episodes on each of these amazing films, or at least some of them are amazing. The film we are going to be listening to us talk about today may not be as amazing as I would like it to be, or anyone else in the entire world, but we're going to discuss it anyways because it is the third part in the Warlock franchise, which is Warlock 3: The End of Innocence from 1999. I forgot what year it came out. So right before the 2000 millennium. So 1999 is this. And to discuss the film with me, I brought on my trusted colleagues, Mr. Dave Watkins and Mr. Thomas Torello, who has stuck with me for these films up till now. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction. I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to talking about this film that was robbed of a Criterion Collection release.
Yes, Mr. Kevin L. Powers, and I concur with my colleague, Mr. Walken here. This cinematic masterpiece that is Warlock 3: The End of Innocence.
Well, before we get started, I will say this. I don't think it's looked nearly as good as it ever has, except for on this Vestron 3 film release. It does look really good on there, considering that I've only ever seen it as a VHS copy.
Yeah. And it's and Bruce Payne as the Warlock does appear on the new cover art for that too. So
yeah, he's on the right where he should be, like a little bit.
yeah, he's a little smaller than Richard E. Grant's character on the front. They got him and Julian Sands. Now,
rest in peace, Julian Sands.
Yeah.
It is sad that he's not in this particular film, but we're going to discuss exactly why that is. But generally speaking, when was the first time each of you saw this particular straight to DVD flick, and what were your general impressions when you first saw it? And I think we went with you, Thomas, last time first, so let's go with Dave on this one.
By all means, Watkins, you go first.
Yes. So imagine this. So I bought the Warlock collection, Vestron collection, a while back, and I'd seen the other two several times, and I watched the other two, and then I was like, I don't want to watch the third one. Yeah. And it was like, in my head, I'm like, this is not going to be very good. And now, it's like a direct to DVD or direct to
Video
DVD. And then the worst,
yes,
the worst thing being that Julian Sands isn't in it, and then even worse that they didn't make any more past this. So this ended the series. So I'm like, this can't be good. So I never watched it. So I was thinking, I won't watch it because it's like I'm going to be really disappointed. So I decided to sign up for the Warlock this podcast, and I'm like thinking the first two. So I'm like, and then when we got to do the third one, I'm like, oh wow, I got to watch the third one now. So, this is the first time I've watched it. So it didn't disappoint as far as like me wishing that I hadn't watched it though. It does have some good stuff in it, which we'll get into. But it's not one of those movies that's so bad that it's good that I was hoping for, kind of. But it does have some good stuff. And really, like, it's not a Warlock movie though. It almost feels like a Warlock's a little shoehorned in here. It's a haunted house movie. The other Warlock movies have a road trip vibe to them, and both of them. And the second one's less road trippy, but they need that aspect really to make it a true Warlock film. This one just like it's a Warlock haunted house sort of movie, but
it feels like they had an original script for a haunted house movie, maybe with a witch in it at some point. And then some producer somewhere said, hey, we can probably get this made easier if we just call it a Warlock 3.
Yeah. That's how it comes off.
You are absolutely right. I never thought about that till now. You are absolutely right. That's exactly what this movie feels like.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's got like, which is kind of cool. You got a group of friends. This is 1999. So you got to think in 1999, what's happening here? You got Buffy the Vampire Slayer starting in 97. You probably have Charmed already out. I didn't look that up, but I would assume,
I think so.
I would assume Charmed is already out. It has like kind of the feel of both of those, but it's not nearly as good.
No, it's not.
What were your impressions of the movie when you first saw it, Thomas?
My impressions of this movie. Well, going into it, first of all, I just want to say I was vaguely aware this movie existed years ago, but I'd only seen the cover of it, and that was enough to make me go, "That's not Julian Sands." Yeah, no. I was going to mention the cover too, but that's a good point. That cover sucks. It does.
Yeah.
Say that again, Watkins, because that's your catchphrase.
What's that? It sucks.
Yeah, that cover sucks. It's like I like the way you say sucks. You drag it out, and it's so full bodied.
Well, just elaborate a little bit. It is not Julian Sands. I guess that's what kind of brings it, but it also doesn't look that good. It looks so generic. You've got the group of friends in the front. It's like, it looks like I Know What You Did Last, like Saturday the 14th or whatever it is. You group in the front. And then you got Bruce Payne in the back. No, I like Bruce Payne though. Don't get me wrong on that. He's good in Passenger 57 and Full Moon, he's actually pretty good in this too. I'm sure he was amazing in
Dungeons and Dragons: Wrath of the Dragon God. Where he has like blue lipstick and no hair.
That sounds. I think I've seen that image before, but it's a nice image of him, though. Yeah, that's a good look for him.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so just like my colleague, Mr. Watkins, here the first time I actually forced myself to sit down and watch this bit of cinema was yesterday. So the wounds are fresh in my head. I'm still processing it, really.
Yeah. There's like a lot to process because there's a lot of things that don't seem like they're the same movie.
No,
it's almost like there's two different things going on here. It's like they got to a point where they're like, this was in the script, like this mirror thing. There's a mirror. It's like Amityville kind of all of a sudden.
That mirror is the best thing in the whole movie.
But you got a mirror and you got a pipe that they, and other weird things that they never come back to. But it's like, that's why it just seems like an Amityville haunted house film, which how many are those? Like 20 of them?
I lose track of how many official ones are versus how many there are that are non-official, which is probably in the hundreds.
I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised there hasn't been an Amityville Warlock yet.
This is better than most of the Amityville films, though, that I've seen.
Which isn't saying much.
Yeah, there's probably like 4 or 5 Amityville films that are better than this one, but this one is. Bruce Payne is good in this. I do like his presence as this Warlock character, but he's not the same Warlock clearly. And
clearly, and he has a name. At least, he's like Philip something or other.
I think that's a fake name. That's an alias name that he has to. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they make that. Well, that's what they called the original Philip Covington is the character that owned the house originally. So you just assume he's a warlock that's been stuck in the house, and so that's his real name that he's been known by. Which I thought was weird too. You mentioned the name, I was like, maybe because. Unlike you two, I actually saw this when it was originally released, thinking, "Oh man, it's gonna be great! It's a Warlock sequel! Oh my god, I can't wait!" And I was like,
"Disappointment."
Yeah.
I did in '99 when I saw it. I was like, "Oh, okay." It has Bruce Payne in it, and it has Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser in it, and it's okay. And then I never saw it again.
Let me ask you this, Kevin. Let me ask you a question, and this is directly related to the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
That cold open in the woods, and the kid gets snatched away. Cut to credits.
Awesome.
Did you feel like? Did you? This is Kevin's question, Dave. Oh wait.
I do. Yeah. That was cinematic gold right there. But go ahead.
Yeah. But my question is, Kevin, when you first saw that back in the '90s, did you feel like there's something missing? I feel like there's something missing. Like they cut too soon.
Oh
My
yeah,
tape is broken.
Yeah,
I did.
It was it was more like, oh man, what am I in store for? That's all they got. That's the scene, and it's like it's funny too because it's like it's in New England, 1673, and of course you're gonna all you got is woods. You don't have any other set dressing, and you got these the mom and the daughter.
This entire movie.
Do I know?
But they don't. You said they don't have any set dressing in the woods, dude. This house they go into, there's no set dressing in this entire movie.
Yeah, they write that in as though there's a reason for there not to be any set dressings when there's not. Even
yeah. It is hilarious though. But actually, the walls and stuff look cool and they're creepy. But yeah, you know what? There's beds. There's random beds with sheets and blankets in there. You know, like that. You wouldn't just take the beds out too. You'd leave them. You know.
Yeah.
I like the room with the shelves, like the library room with no books.
Oh man, I wish I had a library like that, man. Those shelves look nice. I want one.
That's why I've never done a deep dive into the film to see if they shot on location, but this movie feels like it's a movie that was shot on location at a actual house and
in Ireland apparently.
Ireland.
Yeah, look at that. The end credit. I watched the end credits as part of my processing of this movie, and yes, it says shot on location in Ireland, or thanks to the Irish Film Commission, stuff like that.
You know, the house looks pretty cool, other than the lack of set dressing, because it's not just. I mean, to me, it looks like a set a little bit because of the way that it's painted. You know,
and the way
walls.
that it's lit. It's lit. It feels like a set because it's so flatly lit. There's very few bits of accent light that come here and there.
Yeah.
It was really annoying to me. Like, it felt very artificial.
Yeah, I mean, there's it's funny. It's just like so much bad stuff, though. It's like this, like when I think about even the set itself and the fact that they stay there after they get there, and it's like this nasty ass house, and like they're not even really invited to stay there. It was like not even necessarily her house, but she shows up. But they're like, "Come get your shit out of the house. We're selling it." But then they show up and they all stay there for no reason. It's like
nothing makes sense. Like, oh gosh, look, we might as well just get into this. So, like, the premise of this film, if you can call it that, is that this, I assume, 20-something lady named Chris, who is played by Ashley Lawrence, whom horror fans, of course, will recognize as Kirsty from Hellraiser 1 and 2. And it took me a while to recognize her because I was like, wait a minute, is that? And it is. And then
let me address something pretty quick about this. I agree. I didn't recognize her either, but she's actually a really good actress. But this is 1999. Hellraiser's 1987. She was around 30. She was over 30 in this, still playing the same type of character.
I wrote the same thing down.
Yeah, still playing the same type of character, but a lot better actress by this point. She does have a mom vibe. I don't know if she has kids. I couldn't figure it out, but to me, it's like she feels like she's got kids.
I agree. I agree, Watkins. She is way too old to be playing a college student. Unless the only way that would even work is if you put something in there that she had a career and it was going nowhere and decided, I want to learn to be an artist and go back to school. Because people do that all the time. I went back to school after like 7 years.
Yeah, but they're acting like they're 20. They're acting like they're 20. And it's not like, it's like she's acting like she's failed and had to go back, or not necessarily you fell, but you go back sometimes, you know? But,
and this is supposed to be a naive character. I mean, the movie's called The End of Innocence. It's supposed to be about a character losing her innocence and growing to maturity or becoming a monster.
What a stupid title to the End of Innocence. I mean, what's the age of innocence? What year did that come out? I bet it's like the same time, and they were like, man, this is like, it's like so close to the Age of Innocence. We're going to call it the End of Innocence.
Yeah, your Scorsese's Age of Innocence, they came out in 92, 93.
Yeah.
Something about that. But when I saw that title, I thought to myself, oh no, this is a softcore porn movie. And sometimes it kind of is, but no, thank God there's no actual sex in this movie. There's just one girl who is topless for several points of the movie.
Yeah, several points of the movie, and of course the so-called what do you call it,
There's some S&M going on.
Yeah, S&M scene towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie.
But that is something though that does separate it from being like Buffy or Charmed, is they're able to actually throw some nudity in there, which is at the same time you might be leaning towards a porn thing, but at least it has something that makes you say, why isn't this just like on TV? And even the violence for the most part isn't that gruesome.
No, it's not. There's just one throat ripping.
Yeah,
that's it.
That was cool though. I like the throat ripping.
In the 90s, when videos were went straight to DVD/VHS, depending on what you were buying at the time, this movie had all the hallmarks of why someone would actually buy it. The cover looks generic and it looks like everything else in that time period. They hire the lesser known actor, not vibe like Bruce Payne, because he had done so many other things, but they also throw in Ashley Lawrence, who horror fans will recognize from Hellraiser, and they stuck the title Warlock 3 on there to make sure that you see it's part 3 with the end of Innocence. And so when you're looking at that and just in a video store, it's like, oh, this might be Warlock 3, the end of Innocence. Oh, we might get some nudity in this one. Let's rent this out. And that is the vibe this whole movie has to it. So there's little nudity, there's little innocence. There's a couple people horror fans will recognize, Bruce Payne, Ashley Lawrence, and then what we don't get is we don't get great kills. We don't get a movie with some interesting death sequences, and we get even though Bruce Payne, is chewing the scenery in this movie every time he gets a chance, he's not nearly as charismatic as Julian Sands is.
No, he's not. Although, according to IMDb, he's often mistaken for Julian Sands. I'm like, how? They look nothing alike.
No.
They look nothing alike. They don't even sound alike. At times his accent almost sounds German. I thought to myself, is he German British or something? I don't know.
Interesting.
But apparently we forgot to mention the premise of this film, which is that, yes, we mentioned that Ashley Lawrence is a college student who's taking art classes and stuff, and then one day she finds out, this is what's confusing. She's adopted, so she doesn't really know who her real family is, but somehow, and she says this, somehow they tracked me down.
Yeah.
Her blood relations somehow tracked her down and told her, look, y'all have this ancestral house somewhere, unspecified country, and everyone's dead. So now we're gonna just kind of bulldoze the whole thing down. You got like X number of days to come in and clean out anything that is part of your family, like any of your family heirlooms and stuff. You got to take them all out. So she's like, cool, maybe I'll learn about who I really am. Hey, boyfriend Michael, you want to come with me? It'll be an adventure. And he's like, I don't know. Come on. He's like, okay, sure. Then they're like, hey, friends who live in our flat, which is like, I think there's like 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I think there's because there's the mopey guitar kid guy who's not really a kid at all. And then there's the S&M couple.
What's interesting is how they're introduced. It's actually kind of an interesting idea because it has a camera and it goes from door to door and you see them in there doing whatever they're doing, which is S&M shit. It starts off with the girlfriend, Chris, Ashley. What's her name? Ashley Lawrence's character.
Chris, Chris and Michael.
Yeah, and he's acting a way he never acts again in the rest of the film. But he comes in there and scares her, and then he's like wanting to have sex with her and like spanks her ass, which I'm like, all right. But then she's like, at first she's like, you scared me, that's a dick move or whatever, and then he starts spanking her ass, and she kind of gets into it, and then she eventually starts to have sex with him, and then it goes to the mopey dude who's the best friend sort of character, like not the best friend. He's the friend character who likes her, who wants to be with her. And he's kind of like, he's kind of there just to get with her when the boyfriend leaves.
Yeah, eventually. And this poor guy is sandwiched between two very thin walls of two people having raucous sex.
Yeah.
Because on the other side is the S&M couple whose names I don't care to remember.
Well, I got the name. I do want to talk about one of those actors too in a bit, but it's Lisa and Scott. Now Scott is played by Rick Hurst, who I've worked with before.
Oh, really? Neat.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. He's a pretty cool guy. He was in the geez, now I'm forgetting the name of that movie. It's like a baseball movie I did.
Oh, I know.
But
Yeah, you
yeah,
talking about.
he played a cop in it. I was assistant director on it, but he's a cool guy. But
Oh,
he's also the main character in Brain Damage. So he's actually is in
what?
yeah, he's the main character in Brain Damage.
Henenlopper's brain
Yeah,
damage?
yeah. Which I got a copy of it from Arrow right here on standby.
Oh,
I'm just gonna show that. So that's him right there.
Yeah.
huh.
But what's funny is I didn't recognize him while I was watching the movie, but I was thinking, wow, that guy's a good actor. He should have been playing Michael instead of the guy who is playing him. But then once I realized who he was, I was like, oh, okay, that's. But he's a. Yeah, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of the movie. I should work.
I can't remember either. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, yeah, it was full count. Full count's what
Full
it's
count.
called.
Full count.
Yeah. But anyway, it's cool that he's in it. I thought he was pretty good in this too, even though his part's kind of thankless.
Yeah, and he looks really douchey. They make him
Yeah,
look really scuzzy. He's got that stupid, like, spinach chin, like, goatee thing.
yeah.
He's got that really stupid haircut, and he's got that barbed wire tattoo around his bicep that every dude bro from the gym had back in the late 90s. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really awful. But anyway, like, those friends, she says, hey, come with me. And they're like, no,
Oh,
we'll
you
never
forgot
get
about
anything done.
you forgot about the last friend,
Oh, was this the guy?
the tarot girl.
Oh
There
yes.
we go.
Oh, I forgot all
Robin.
about. Oh, I called her. You know what I call her? I call her a cult Britney Spears. She looks
Yeah. Wait,
she
she
looks
does
just like.
yeah, she's like played a goth character, but she's dressed all in kind of more. I don't even know how to describe it right off the bat. It was like a
She's like all teeny bopper, but actually, now that I think about it,
Britney
that was a
Spears.
choice, and that's a good choice. I kind of like that the witch in the group doesn't look at all like a witch. She looks like a backup dancer for Britney Spears,
Let's see.
and I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. Like she looks pretty good. She's got like a kind of blonde hair, but the
Yeah.
funny thing is like when she walks funny. It's like she walks like
Really?
yeah. I mean, I thought
notice.
yeah, I saw like she's fine when she's kind of, you know, you would think that she would glide a little bit when she walks, but it's almost like she just kind of she walks almost like kind of manly. I think is odd because she doesn't look like she would, and then she starts to walk, and it's just like it's just kind of. I thought it was a little different than the way that the character looks like
Maybe
she would walk.
maybe she has spina bifida. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, like they say, no, we're not going to go because we're not going to get any work done because we got to study because we're college students, man. And then they're like, okay, we'll go anyway. So she goes with her boyfriend to this house while they're en route. This
Wow. Yeah.
random roofer guy comes out to inspect the place.
I thought you were gonna talk about the random old woman, but that random roofer guy's pretty random
we
too.
just cut to that scene, which has no bearing on the
Yeah.
entire film whatsoever. Go ahead.
At all.
This is the
And he just-
Amityville scene, though. This is like the Amityville scene.
Actually, it kind of reminded me of the opening of The Beyond, where they have that one worker.
Okay,
who
yeah,
gets-
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that, but not
Yeah.
nearly as good.
No.
And the guy doesn't die in The Beyond. And this one, the guy dies. He goes up to the freaking the attic, and he's gonna do something with the window, and then all of a sudden the window explodes,
Yeah.
and he falls and dies. We don't see the warlock in there. We don't see any ghosts. We don't see any demons. It just explodes.
Yeah, I don't know what.
reasons.
Yeah, there's. Yeah, I do want to mention. I do want to throw a little bit more shade, real quick. So,
Shade away. Shade away.
yeah. So this whole exposition is started with a really lame phone call. She's laying in bed. She gets the phone call. Hey, you got a house. It's your ancestor's house. All that stuff you said earlier. But this happens from a phone call, and like that's how it's all set up. Yeah, and it's like, and there's no like, come meet us at this office, and then we'll go take a look at it. It's like, you know, you don't know who she's talking to. I guess it's this historian, but it's just like it's just so like random, and you don't see who's on the other line. You know, it's just like, and her reaction is like, oh, okay, really, okay, cool. I'll see you like in 5, whatever. You know?
Yeah, and also another thing I forgot to mention is like when we cut from the opening cold open, which is the mother and the daughter in the woods in the 16th century because they got 16th century garb on.
Yes, yeah.
And she gets and her.
It actually has a subtitle that says 1673 is what it is.
I didn't even see that subtitle, so that
it's on there.
So
you have to see it in Blu-ray.
So that when we cut to the present and it says Somerville College, the present, I was like, Yeah, as if I couldn't figure that out from the cars. Thanks, movie, for making me feel stupid. But then again, I did watch this movie, so I guess shame on me. But
I thought the way that was happening during the opening credits, I thought that was another subtitle. It was like Warlock Collection. I mean, Warlock 3 End of Innocence, like Somerville Present.
That's
the entire title.
That's another thing about the title too, though. It's like in the movie, it's Warlock semicolon or colon the end of Innocence.
Yeah.
In the IMDb, if you look this movie up, it's Warlock 3 end of Innocence.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if this movie, and by the ending, when it was all said and done, I was like, you know what? Yes, this movie is another reboot. It has nothing at all to do with either of the other two. There's no reference to any previous Warlock. There's no mention of, hey, remember that weird thing when the eclipse, when a solar eclipse was happening, and all these people were dying in weird ways, and there was
no druids or nothing. There's no
druids.
How can they not have druids in it?
Nah, this is just a completely self-contained Warlock movie. Just like the Prom Night sequels or the freaking Silent Night, Deadly Night sequels. Any a lot of those straight to DVD franchises actually, where they made self-contained individual films and they just slapped on a title for some successful IP and made money and called it the day.
Self-contained is definitely the word, Kevin L. Powers, because this movie is very self and contained. It's darn near claustrophobic, actually. It's such a step down from the other two movies. Like it feels like Dave mentioned, the other two movies are road trips. One's going one direction, one's going the exact opposite direction. This one just stays put and doesn't really go anywhere. And it's just one house, and all the stuff happens in the house. I mean, there's the college stuff in the beginning of the movie. And then once they get to the house, that's it. They're trapped, and they never leave. It's also like it feels like a step down because like the other two movies were all about from the get-go. You knew the Warlock is the son of Satan, and he's going to try to, in the first movie, uncreate the world. The second movie, bring about the Armageddon, specifically.
Armageddon!
Yes. He's specifically going to bring his daddy, the devil, up from hell and rain hell on earth. It's bad stuff. This movie, you are not sure what the Warlock even wants to do until the very end of the movie. And it's not really the same thing. It's kind of not really as big. I mean, most of the time you're just thinking to yourself, I was thinking to myself, why is this freaking Warlock just bumming around, messing with the relationships with these stupid, skeezy, college kids from the 90s? What this is so beneath him.
Yeah. His the big thing seems to be which the witch character Robin figures out is that he wants something from everybody so he can put like spells on him. She's like, don't give him anything. And they're so dumb though. They're like in this stupid house, and she's like suspicious, and then she goes to sleep and lets somebody come in and cut her part of her hair off. How do you not notice somebody coming in and cut your damn hair off?
I don't know, but actually, like, this is a weird thing. Is like this movie gets a little better once Bruce Payne shows up and starts doing Warlocky things.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't do as many Warlocky things as his predecessor, but he at least does some Warlocky things.
Well, I feel like he's maybe on screen longer than Julian Sands because even though he doesn't appear at the house until almost 40 minutes into it, but he's in a lot of scenes after that.
Yeah, and he has more dialogue, I feel like, than Julian Sands did. But it's not good dialogue. In fact, nobody in this movie has very good dialogue. I mean, God bless Ashley. She's the Hellraiser girl. She's trying.
She actually has like her eyes look pretty cool. Like she has a pretty good. Like a lot of times I'm like, wow, she's doing some pretty good acting here.
Yeah,
even
she's got
even the girl playing Robin. The
Occult Britney Spears.
Yeah, that's it. Occult Britney Spears. Even she's pretty good in some scenes. Especially when she's acting with Ashley Lawrence. And that guy, the guy playing the friend's pretty good too, though. Yeah, he does a pretty good job.
Which one, Jeremy?
Yeah, what is his name? Jeremy or Jerry?
The
Yeah,
music guy, yeah, the
yeah,
music.
yeah. I thought he was pretty good, even though his character's really pathetic. But I thought he was pretty good.
We're
That
talking.
seemed a
You
little
know
bit
what?
too
For this,
pathetic.
aside from Chris, I didn't really remember anybody's names. I just gave them nicknames. Like Chris, like Jeremy was Guitar Boy. In fact, I think he is
Yeah,
called Guitar Boy
yeah,
by one of the other
yeah, yeah.
characters. So I was like, you know what?
That's a
This
good
movie
one.
knows what it's talking about. I'm gonna call him that. Um, and then of course there was the S&M girl couple. I didn't bother to remember their names. Robin, of course, they shout her name several times
Yeah.
because they're trying to look for her at one point in the movie. But again,
Yeah,
I like calling her Cult Britney Spears better.
yeah.
And of course, there's the Warlock, who has a name, but in the credits he's just Warlock. So I guess, yeah. And then there's Doctor Exposition, who comes in midway through the movie. He's got a name too. I wrote it down. I
It's
don't
Mr.
remember it.
Butterfield.
Mr. Butterfield.
And it even looks like he's got a stupid red tie and a trench coat. He's like looks like really goofy because his trench coat looks kind of cool. And he's got glasses on and he's like older dude, kind of looks like a I don't know, kind of like Bernie Sanders in a trench coat. And then
Sanders. You know what vibes I got? I got like this guy, this actor. Maybe it's maybe a directorial thing. Maybe the director conferred with the actor in the costume department, and he's like, you know what? This guy, this is the Lucio Fulci cameo in a Lucio Fulci movie.
yeah, I mean his acting is pretty good. It's funny. It's a bit of a difference between the way that he actually looks because he looks like a goofball kind of, and then he actually
Yeah.
it's pretty intense performance. Pretty, pretty I don't know. He seems like a seasoned professional, really, when he's on screen. So that's how I guess that'd be a good way to describe it. So
Yeah, well, we talked about the cast of this movie, and now I keep thinking about, dang, how would this movie have been if Lucio Fulci had directed it? If he'd been alive in the late '90s, this would have been so much better, or so much worse. That it would have been amazing. Like it would, like you said, it's not so bad that it's bad.
yeah,
It's just bad. It's just
Well,
bad enough to be
yeah.
bad.
I
But
think
there's
that,
there's so many annoying things. Just like what is going on and why was it done this way? It's like you can see they cut corners and
They cut corners and didn't pay things off. But like
yeah,
the guy responsible for this whole thing, he's a man by the name of Eric Fraser. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. What'd you say?
you said it two different ways. You probably
Fraser.
got it right once.
One of those, yeah. So I looked him up. He is mostly a producer. The only other thing he directed was a TV short called Take Out the Beast, which is a sci-fi short film, not a horror flick. He also wrote a Nickelodeon TV movie called Swindled, which I've never heard of. And that's pretty much it. He kind of quit.
Yeah.
He quit the business shortly after Swindled, and now he apparently is a professor where he teaches at University of Southern California. He teaches cinematic arts at USC. And with all due respect, Mr. Fraser, if I was taking your class, every time you said something that sounded impossible, I'd be like, "Yeah, but you did Warlock 3, dude. Why should we listen to you?"
Hey, he has some claim to fame. He wrote Another Midnight Run, dude. That was a fun movie.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Let me address this directing real quick. I don't think it like this would. I mean, people might not appreciate it, but I think the actors are directed fairly well. I would think the biggest part is the script, and some. Yeah, I don't think it's that. I mean, he may have been out of his field with the special effects stuff and what we horror fans want to see. Like all those scenes don't work quite right, but I think that there is some good direction when it comes to the actors, and even some of the scenes are well like shot or looking. But so I don't know if it would be necessarily, it's not the best work. I mean, it's definitely not. Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know if I would necessarily be ashamed of the direction of it, but even as a script wise, it could still, especially earlier on, because it does have some things in it that work, but there's definitely a lot of things that don't. And I feel like he's working with a really tight budget, and he probably had producers like changing things on him, and I think he probably had things taken away from him that he was supposed to have that he didn't have access to all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think the thing about this is, like other than what I've already said in terms of its marketing ability, I think you guys hit it on the head when you said it was probably a haunted house script originally, and they shoehorned it into the Warlock franchise just to make it more marketable. That seems like the most logical reason for the type of movie this is compared to the two films that came before it. And I never thought about that till you guys said that. And that would explain why the mirror sequence that we've hinted at, where Ashley Lawrence's character Chris is at the house and she sees the whole image of herself in the mirror, stuff like that. And the stuff with the handyman outside the window make no sense for a Warlock movie because they aren't usually associated to a Warlock movie.
Yeah.
A haunted house movie is
right. Another window breaks during that sequence too. Like they had like some weird window breaking fascination, but that mirror gag. I mean, it's kind of like an interesting idea, but it's clearly they weren't prepared to do it right, because it's like she's standing in front of the mirror, and then she turns, and then the mirror does a jump cut to her looking different and with some kind of rune thing on her chest, and it's two jump cuts in the mirror, and then back, and then it's gone. But, I mean, it just wasn't. I mean, that's a budget constraint too, or maybe even a director constraint where he that would have taken a long time to do if they wanted to do it the right way.
Yeah. But it's funny, but I still think that works. Like that's literally like there's two really good special effects sequences in this movie. That's the first one. The second one we'll get to later. But like the whole
we're going to talk about the only two good special effects sequences. We might as well talk them together.
Well, we're going to do that 3 hours from now at the end of it. All right.
First let's do this one because it's so weird. The build up to that mirror gag is so weird. I don't understand it. So Ashley Lawrence is sleeping by herself in this big creepy house. She didn't. I can't remember why Michael isn't there yet, but he's not.
With them, none of them, all of them were like they had tests. They had tests to do, and she's like, "Screw your test." She's like, "They're gonna throw away my stuff," and
they don't have a test yet. They're supposed to be
study it. Yeah. But they all don't come. But it was so weird. She gets there by herself. Nobody's there, and she just goes in. Can you imagine if you got this phone call telling you to show up somewhere? You get there, nobody's there, and you just assume everything they said on the phone was true with no paperwork and no like talking to anybody official.
I know it's so dumb, but anyway, she goes in. She's picked one bedroom. Why she picked that one, I have no idea. Maybe it's the only one that had a bed in it.
Well, she goes to leave at some point. Her car's all broken down. It like
that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. She's not totally incompetent. She tries to leave. The car won't start because magic. And also there's a bunch of storms in this movie that don't make sense. But
we don't get to see them either.
We don't get to see them. We just hear them. Yeah, we just hear them, and there's flashes of lightning.
We hardly hear them. They talk about them.
They talk about them.
They're like, man, there's a typhoon. Man, there's a typhoon out there, man. And you don't even hear it. It's like, where really? There's a typhoon, and you see the windows, and it's like, well, it looks kind of sunny out there, I guess.
And it's the whole reason why the Warlock stays with them for 2 days. Weird. But anyway, so Ashley Lawrence is by herself in this house, this big creepy house that has nothing on the walls, nothing, no art, no color to it except for the weird green on the walls. And it's just got this one mirror and this bed. She goes in, she changes her outfit. She changes into this nightgown that looks Victorian. Like
that's what you do.
Very old looking. What?
That's what you do when you're like in a weird, nasty house that hasn't been cleaned in like 100 years. You just go ahead and put your really sexy nightgown on.
It's not even that sexy though. It's like an old Victorian like child's nightgown made for a woman's size. And then she goes and looks at herself in the mirror and starts unbuttoning her nightgown like she's like almost exposing her breasts to herself, and like she's like turned on by herself in a weird way. That's
an audience tease. We're like, oh wow, we're gonna see him, and then it's like,
no, I understand why it's in the movie. I don't understand the justification for it in world. It doesn't make any sense. But then, and she thinks better of it and doesn't expose herself to the mirror. But then she turns from the mirror, and then that's when that cool moment happens when her reflection stays and goes, and there's this weird shriek, and it's kind of almost very Evil Dead-ish.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild, actually. I thought, oh, okay. I haven't seen anything quite like that since like an Evil Dead movie. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into that. This is the first instance of anything in this movie that I can remotely call good. That gave me a little bit of a jolt that I want in a horror movie. I'm okay with that. So that got me on board.
Let me address it real quick. So I don't have a good explanation for it, but I do think that, like, again, this is from a completely different movie. I think the mirror and was kind of possessing her in a way to make her more sexualized all of a sudden. Like she was like becoming like I mean, that's why I'm saying it's a completely that scene specifically is from a completely different movie because she never does anything like that again. She never, like, you would think that there would be another scene where like she would be like all getting sexual like again. As a matter of fact, it's like even the earlier scene where he spanks her ass, and she was like, at first she was like, man, he's like, man, you gotta love the endorphins, and get into like me scaring you and stuff. Like that would ever work. Anytime I've done that, it's never worked out that way. Maybe
we really didn't need to know that.
Ass spanking working. No, I'm just saying. I mean, most of the time, think about it. But yeah. No, I mean, even if I've jumped out and scared people before, but it's never led to like, oh wow, let's have sex right now, But it's like, it might be funny, but it's never like a foreplay thing,
no.
But
you're right. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. I mean, in movies.
Yeah, but they do it, but it's not a foreplay thing. It's not like you jump out and scare of somebody, and suddenly they're like, oh, cool, that's gonna bring my endorphins out. Now we're gonna have sex now. So people, I'm sorry to interrupt, but just so people know, guys out there, if you do bother to watch this movie on Amazon Prime, which is where I watched it, and it's probably the best place you're going to get quality for this thing. This sequence we're talking about happens 25 minutes into this movie. So if you want to just watch it for that, that's where you get it. Well, I wouldn't go watching it for that scene specifically. You're not going to be too impressed. I mean, it's like this scene's been done in other films a lot better.
Yeah.
But she doesn't even take her. She doesn't even take her like robe off all the way. So
I'm sorry. I almost forgot. There is one little funny bit in that moment that, like, after that happens, like she doesn't notice the demon version of herself in the mirror, but she does go back and like, huh? And then she starts to feel like there's something weird. So she arms herself with a candlestick and goes to bed. And I thought, oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
She got a candlestick as her weapon against the supernatural. Everyone who's played Clue knows that.
Yeah.
You get a candlestick.
But the candlestick's in the house still too. It's funny how there's like a couple random things, mostly nothing, but then there's a mirror and a candlestick, and then everything else is just bare.
Yeah. It's bare until the group comes in and brings a whole bunch of shit to eat with.
Yeah. And that's her boyfriend's whole personality from the time they get there is like he's the guy that cooks. He makes pancakes. He makes spaghetti. He's like, you want some spaghetti? You want some pancakes? And he's like, oh wow, he's such a good boyfriend. He can cook.
I know, right?
But what's funny is he becomes he becomes like the good boyfriend all of a sudden. Like before that, he's like the guy that jumps out and scares people, and he's like, "Man, you're a douche." But now it's like, "I can cook. What's up?"
And then he's a douche again later. But yeah, it's like all these people like who said we don't want to go. All of a sudden, they're showing up like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna come. This is great." But wait, we're not gonna get any work done. And you can't understand a word they're saying. But like, they're just a bunch of late '90s stereotypical college kids. But they come in at the worst possible time because the creepy stuff was already building up. There was weird shutter slamming. There was weird noises. Actually, Lawrence was all by herself. And
she saw the ghost of the little girl from the beginning too.
Yes, the ghost girl in the curtains. That was a cool shot.
That's a cool shot, but it's really interesting because she doesn't acknowledge she saw a ghost. She acknowledges she heard a little girl's voice, which I thought was very weird.
That was weird. That's a script problem there.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so if you saw the ghost, wouldn't you say that to your friends instead of, did y'all hear a little girl's voice? I was like, that makes no freaking sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
You think she actually saw it? I don't know if I'm going to even try to defend this movie, but
I don't know either. But I'll tell you what.
To be honest with you, after listening to the dialogue aspects, I kind of think that she didn't see it, and it's more or less one of those jump scare moments for the audience in this film. Like she hears all of the shutters and everything moving on themselves, and it's like she doesn't see it because her friends explaining the way. Well, there's a big storm outside and it's moving everything, and you could hear us knocking on the door for hours. And I'm like,
it's so dumb how they're not listening to her. She's panicking, she's freaking out. Listen to what she's saying, you idiots. And they're all coming in like they're at a friggin' rave or something, you know?
Yeah. So speaking of raves, I want to mention this, and I will again later. But like one of the most annoying things about this movie is the music. Like the constant,
it's the WB music.
It is
the constant needle dropping of this stupid, disgusting sounding, freaking 90s rock rave stuff that just keeps coming up, and even the score at what should be very tense moments and chase scenes and stuff should sound better, but no, they get the at some point in it, and I'm like, what the frack? Like, whose stupid idea was that?
That's the trait of the 90s movies, dude.
Not all of them, just the bad ones.
Yeah, some of them had really good soundtracks, and some of them have really bad ones. And the thing is, we tend to remember the movies that had really good ones, like The Crow, the Brandon Lee's The Crow, not the recent one. Or I Know What You Did Last Summer, or some of the other ones. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones out there that had like The Faculty had a great score.
Dude, the remake of House on Haunted Hill didn't do that, and that movie is about as late 90s, early 2000s as you can get.
This is kind of like Haunted House on Haunted Hill feeling too. Like the whole movie kind of feels like that.
Some of it felt a little Hellraiser light too. I think when they realized they got Ashley Lawrence in, they're like, "Oh, we better put some Hellraiser-ish stuff in there," which they do later on, but it's not good.
Gore, though. That's the thing about this movie. It's like they on the budget said, "We're not gonna have any gore. We're gonna have one person,
just one
get killed, and she has the coolest visual effects sequence other than the one with the mirror, which is why I said."
That's the second one. Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm glad we agree. That is I think they put all their money into that sequence. So like way later on, it becomes very clear that as soon as the Warlock shows up, and I think he shows up slightly after Dr. Exposition, who comes in and drops all the exposition that I'm not even going to bother going into, but like he just tells her like that there's a history of the house, and there was your ancestor was a witch, or all that stuff, and like none of that.
It's stupid.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
but anyway,
but then the Warlock. It's like this is 39. I wrote it down. It's 39 minutes in when the Warlock shows up at the door.
Almost the 40-minute mark. He shows up all smiles, and Philip.
He shows up before that scene at the door, though. Don't forget, he shows up right after he's released from some weird stuff.
I was confused about that.
No, that's a flashback scene.
Is it though?
Yeah, it is.
When Jeremy is there at the pipe and he releases that big goo that goes up into the freaking ceiling and creates the break in the wall, I have always assumed that was the Warlock being released from whatever freaking
probably.
Because otherwise that thing makes no sense and doesn't pay off.
Make any sense. But then he shows up first time in the bedroom, watching over.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So we see him watching, like a little gargoyle.
That's kind of cool though. That's kind of cool. But I was talking about there's a scene like right after that happens. It shows him down in his underground lair in the catacombs under the house. Yeah, and he's got like this real cheesy, like looks like something off the out of Charmed. Really, it's like a cheesy lair that's under the house, and he's I guess they seal him in there or something.
Yeah, he's trying to kill someone in there to sacrifice, and then the mother comes in, saves the daughter, and
there's like a doll. Don't forget the doll, man.
Don't forget the doll. That's important.
It's real important for later.
But it's a circular looking catacombs room with runes and stuff on the walls, and then like the woman runs, the same woman from the cold open, but then she walls up with mortar and bricks, and it is not clear at that point whether she's walling herself in or the Warlock.
He was just very impatient. He's just going to sit there and let her do it.
Exactly. I was like, that's kind of So I assume, and I could be wrong. I assume that little doll charm is what prevents him from leaving
Yeah.
that area. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
assume
He's
that.
scared to death of it,
He's
man. It's like he's like the totem or whatever he
yeah,
calls it.
yeah, I couldn't remember if they called it a totem or not.
He called it
Talisman. No,
talisman.
Talisman.
totem is like a tribal. Totem's like an African or
Oh yeah.
or a tribal thing. No, he says talisman.
Oh yeah. He's like the talisman.
Yeah.
No.
You
So
do not have the power.
so she walls him up really slowly because she has to go get this stuff to wall him up in the little prison. So, and then I guess he just sits there for the next 600 plus, how many, every 300 years?
360 some years. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I to wait for someone to try and bust open a
The
pipe.
pipe. Yeah. The pipe is the problem.
Yeah.
It's always been the problem.
But
You know,
see,
the
what's
plumbing.
funny is that the handyman mentions, "Oh, I gotta come out here because people are hearing noises in the pipe. The neighbors are hearing noises from the pipes." And I'm like, "Well, what are you doing outside at the window then? Because the pipes are inside." And
Yeah.
and
Well,
I'm
he tried to open the front door, so I guess he figured he'd climb up to the top of the house and go in through the top window.
yeah, but then and what's really stupid is that you see like his little toolbox right there by the pipe as though he'd already been there to try and fix the pipe. And I'm like, oh my God, the logic of this movie is just really out the window.
Maybe he didn't
Wow.
die. Maybe he just fell off the ladder and then came in there later to try to fix the pipe and was like, you know what, I better leave. This is weird.
That would make sense, Watkins, because they never mention his body being discovered or that he was laid or somebody.
But who's gonna tell it? You know, like there's like the Butterfield dude. What about we didn't mention the old lady she's driving down the road and
Oh gosh,
the
old lady who I was sure would come back later. She does not.
Yeah, it's like the Crazy Ralph character from the Friday the 13th movie. She's like, "You're all doomed," you know.
Yeah, but like anyway, we were trying to get to the second thing because like the second great set piece of this movie, which is basically like the Warlock guy is there. He said I don't even remember what his BS explanation was for why he's there in the first place, but he claims that he has some business with the house. And then the storm comes in and he's like, well, I guess, maybe I should stay here and wait out the storm with you. And he's like, yeah, sure, do that. Yeah, that'd be great. And then as he's there, he starts to get to know all these people. And then he starts to eventually get their a little token of their stuff. Somebody gives him, guitar guy gives him, opens up to him about his feelings for Chris / Ashley Lawrence, and eventually gives him some of his lyrics for a song that he wrote about her. And he's like, oh yeah. So with every object that they give, or in the case of occult Britney Spears, stole, which by the way, that the rules he circumvents around that weirdly.
Well, he does
gain control. He gets control over Songboy to go in with some scissors. I thought he was going to kill her, but no. He goes in and cuts off a piece of her hair, which any girl, all the females, I think, who are listening to the show or watching on YouTube would tell you that if you are missing a piece of your hair, instantly next morning, you will notice it when you're doing yourself up in the mirror. But anyway, she doesn't notice. But like, he's got the piece of her hair and he's got the necklace, because he looks at her necklace the first time he sees her and is like, ooh, that's like a charm that's to ward off evil. And she's like, yeah, I know. So now he's got it. And then we have this little kind of witches duel between the two of them, because she does know witchcraft and she starts saying some witchcraft stuff, and it does counteract a spell when he wraps her up in a carpet and the carpet drops. He's like, this stuff actually works. But then all of a sudden it doesn't work. And he's like, I've got a million counter spells for that. And she tries to telekinetically move a porcelain angel and throw it at him. And then she just ends up picking up and throwing at him anyway. And he grabs it and he's like, haha, so cute. And then he throws it at her. And when he throws it at her, it goes into her and turns her into porcelain. And it's this really cool, just still frame of her going, ah! But she is porcelain now and shiny. And it looks really, at first you think, oh, it's just a still image, but nope. Bruce Payne comes in and walks around her like she's a dimensional object in space. It's the same angle. The camera never changes the angle, but it's like, wow, I don't see any pixelation. I don't see any like weirdness, or like nothing. It doesn't look like it's unrealistic. And then he shatters her into a million little pieces, and that looks good too. Right. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and that's like the only time that it looks pretty good, when people get killed, or it really falls through all the way. Because sometimes people get killed and it looks okay, but they don't stick with it like that. You know, they actually show the whole process. A lot of times they'll cut away, and you don't know. But even with her, like sometimes with her getting her hair cut, when the guy comes in and like he's directed in a way to make it look like he's going to stab her instead of cutting her hair. He actually holds the scissors like he's going to stab her with them. Like that's not the way you hold scissors. But it was all like a, try to trick the audience into thinking that she was killed. Yeah. And then you don't see her for a few scenes, and when you see her again, you're like, oh well, she wasn't killed after all. He just cut her hair off.
What did he do?
But it does look good though. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it was.
I don't know either. Yeah. I kind of don't want to know because it looks like real magic.
No, I mean, it would. I don't know if it was. I don't. It's because like you say, it doesn't. An actress maybe it would be tough for an actress not to move and you not to notice it. So it's almost like it had to have been like maybe. It possibly could have been like they did a mold of her and made her look that way.
No, I don't think they had the money to do that. I mean, it didn't look like that. Yeah. No, but what sells it for me again is that Bruce Payne walks around her, and that looks really that sells it. That sells it within the space. Yes, and I guess if he hadn't done that, it wouldn't have looked as good. It's like it's like the magician who does the levitation thing. That he puts the hula hoop. This is like a magician putting a hula hoop around the levitating lady, and it makes you go, see, no strings. So and that sequence does feel like something the Julian Sands Warlock would do. That feels like something he would have done in Warlock 2 specifically. That's like the one point in this movie where it feels like a Warlock movie.
Yeah. That's the best kill, but it also, I like that character, the Robin character. I like the character, but it's a little disappointing that she got taken out, but it was sort of, once that happens, it was pretty obvious that this was like a 10 Little Indians, Agatha Christie sort of thing, where everybody's going to be getting picked off one at a time with him manipulating each one of them.
Yeah, or two at a time in the case of the S&M couple.
Yeah. But they only have so much time because they don't start killing people until like almost an hour into it. You only got 30 more minutes left. But
true enough. But Ashley Lawrence does find all the little broken pieces of her friend,
including her finger. Her finger's still good.
The finger, she finds this beautiful porcelain finger with her characteristic ankh ring on it, and she's like, "Huh, that's weird."
And she doesn't ever kind of mention it or react to it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but she doesn't quite at that point believe in magic that much, and doesn't. It'd be tough to think, hey, this girl, my friend, got turned into porcelain and then shattered all over the room. It wouldn't be the first. In reality, it wouldn't be the first thing you would think of if you didn't believe in witchcraft.
I believe it, dude. I believe it.
I mean, this is a movie. If you were like, I don't know. I mean, it's that's what happened. But later on, she finds that Butterfield dude, like he's got him hidden up in the closet. For some reason he couldn't turn him into porcelain and shatter him and a little easier.
Or burn his body up and get rid of the evidence or any of that. He hides it in the attic.
Yeah.
And just close the attic door enough so the body doesn't get found.
And you know what's even worse? Is that, we're jumping ahead here, but later on, when Ashley Lawrence is looking around for Robin, she doesn't find Robin. She finds Mr. Exposition's body. As he falls.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Butterfield, Mr. Exposition.
Butterfield, Dr. Exposition. He falls. He falls, but she finds his body, and the reason why she finds his body is so that she can find the one page of the letters.
I thought it was all burned. Didn't they burn it?
You would think, but no. Apparently, the Warlock is a little bit of an idiot and didn't check his body to see if there are any other letter pages. He forgot one.
Hey,
and
that's
that
a call
one
back to what, the first movie with the pages of the book, that one page was left behind.
Kevin, you give the screenwriters too much credit. I don't think that was a
No, I doubt the
purposeful.
screenwriters even watched the first two movies, dude.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I don't think they even watched the Warlock movies. Shame on them. Shame on you, Eric, whatever your name is now. I can't remember. But anyway, so that's the whole reason that he didn't burn up his body or turn him to dust or anything like that, because he totally could have. But it's just so she could find that. And we didn't even mention the letters. Like, the letters were supposed to be like this big thing that is like the link between her and her past, because they were written apparently by her great 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 grandmother, who was, I guess, the witch in the first part of the movie. Which it's a little confusing too, because I thought that it was a different actress, but sometimes it looks like it's played by Ashley Lawrence. So I'm like, is it Ashley Lawrence? Is it not? I don't know. And then it gets even more confusing when the Warlock tells her, like, basically, you're reincarnated. And then you're like, wait a minute. So when she was seeing the girl ghost in the beginning of the movie, how could she be seeing her own ghost if she's that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so
yeah, there's
those
like
letters.
Yeah,
And
there's that whole
funny, though,
none of that reincarnation
I'm sorry.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah, I want to start with the letter, though, because the letter's funny. Like, this letter, the last letter page, she's reading it, and it's all about her, like, documenting the way that the Warlock tries to kill her by turning all of her family against her. One by one, he gets all of them to give her up so that he can take her for the ritual, which makes zero sense, but okay. Like, he can only do his ritual if all the people she loves give her to him, and he has to, like, dispel all of them. And
he does make a funny comment at some point about it being kind of complicated, but he does make a funny, like, side remark about it being kind of annoying that he has to do it, but it's part of it.
When he's playing with the knife on her cheek, he's like, as much as I enjoy your suffering, I do have to concentrate.
It's just
yeah,
it looks like the actress that plays her mom is a different actress. I see her.
I thought so, but there were times where it looks
her name's
like
Catherine Siggins. Yeah, she does. She looks very, very similar to her, actually, especially her eyes.
I mean, yeah, I 100% buy that it could be Ashley Lawrence's mom, but sometimes I feel like it is played by Ashley Lawrence, and it's confusing. But, like, the page that she wrote says, like, and I believe there's only one way that you can kill a warlock, and it's ... And the other side, there's no other page. And I'm like, I kept waiting for it. I was like, and the way they kill a warlock is, yes, it's cats in a box, isn't it? It's cats in a box, isn't it?
It's the talisman
in a box, right?
The talisman, the doll.
It's the doll.
It's the doll, or the fire. Oh my god, man! I mean, oh man, it's cats in the thing. Yeah, that from the first one. That would have
been great.
It's like none of these filmmakers want to have to deal with cats. Like live cats. It's not fun. Yeah.
Speak for yourself, Watkins. I love my two kitties. They would climb in the basket for me to kill the warlock. I know they would.
But you got to make them stay in the basket, and then
it's called catnip.
Yeah. Well, but then you got people who just hate seeing animals killed because they got to get killed.
But that's the point, Watkins. Remember the first movie? They have to be live cats. They can't be dead. They have to stay in the basket while you're hanging the warlock over them and then burn the warlock. That's how you do it. None of these movies stick to proper warlock disposal procedure. And
I still think the cats are going to die. I think the cats have to die, though.
Why? Why do the cats have to die?
Because the warlock's body's going to burn, and the people are so, like, they're not going to be thinking about moving the cats out of the way. They're going to be like so happy the warlock's burning. They're just going to watch him burn, and then all his parts are going to drop onto the cats. The cats are going to catch on fire.
They're not. The basket's fine. The basket might get singed a little bit, but the wind will carry away the warlock's dust as he's falling to the ground. Come on.
What do you think, Kevin? Do you think their cats are going to survive the warlock burning over them?
I can't believe this conversation has lasted the 3 movies in this franchise about the cat.
And they never do it. They never try to kill him the way they literally say how to kill him in the very beginning of the very first movie. And they never do it. I swear, if they ever reboot this franchise and they do not try at least to kill the Warlock with a basket of live cats, I will throw things at the screen. I will riot because you're just dumb at that point.
Dude, I would love to remake this as the first movie as a television show, and show everything that leads up to the very end, like the beginning of the first film. Then Redfern capturing the Warlock and all that shit. I think it'd be cool, but I don't think anyone is looking at this franchise IP as something that needs to be resurrected anytime soon.
Wait.
I hope if they do it, they do it right, and they don't make a part 2 to this one.
Well, we'll get into that.
Crumbs. So we've talked about the 2 great deaths in this film, and we've discussed a little bit about the S&M part of this film. I do want to mention this, that when we were talking about the shots and cinematography, when we mentioned how the characters are first introduced and they go from each one scene to scene, each one in their own respective rooms, they repeat that again when they first are in the house. And they do almost the exact same thing that they did in the first montage in the second montage. And I was curious to see what you 2 thought of that. If you thought it was repetitive and cheap, or if you thought it was creative in terms of one of the only creative things the film really has in terms of cinematography.
Honestly, Kevin, I didn't even notice that the second time. I didn't notice it. You're the only one that caught that.
Right. I'm the same way. I think I was kind of checked out of the movie by then. But but I will say this. I like a callback. I think that's a good idea to call it back. I don't think it's like to me, it's not cheap. It's like they were basically showing the same thing again. Even though I think it's really odd that these people live in this dorm and they just happen to all live right beside each other and they all happen to be the best friends. Like Friends. There actually is a Friends scene when they all go meet in the commons area. It's like when the friends and they go to the coffee shop in the morning or wherever they go. Yeah. It's like that. Yeah. So.
To me, that's not the Friends shot. To me, the Friends shot is when they first come, like the morning after they've come to the creepy house, and they start cleaning it. They start making it homey, and then when they're done, they have this big shot where they're all sitting on the floor on a little raised part of the floor, and they're all just kind of chilling. And I swear, it looks just like the opening to a sitcom from the 90s. I thought I was going to see Friends of Warlocks.
Yeah.
I thought that was really weird too. Like they all that whole montage of them cleaning up and everything. I was like, that's fucking weird. And then of course they go. Then they decide to go and separate into rooms after they've cleaned up everything. I was like, that's a weird editing.
That makes me, to me, it's like. Here's how I don't know. I mean, I just think to me, you're in this situation, everybody stays in the main room in their sleeping bags. You don't go I mean, it's such a weird situation. You're in this house that doesn't look very welcoming. It's nasty. I guess they cleaned it up, but it's like everyone's really concerned with just going and having sex, and it's like.
And by everyone, we mean specifically just the S&M couple. Really, nobody else is banging that much in this movie.
Yeah, they can't go like a night without having sex. They got to do it.
Yeah.
And not only do they have to do it, they have to do it in their like crazy sex way. Yes. They can't just save that for when they get back home. They have to have crazy S&M sex.
Yeah, like where'd she get the rope? Because basically
they just bring it with them. They love it. Just like they bring pancakes and spaghetti everywhere they go too.
Yeah, because they mentioned that. They tell Chris when they arrive, and we brought food too, and we brought a radio to listen to music. I was like, and you brought utensils to cook shit because you had to, because you didn't know what the hell the place was going to have to begin with.
They do mention that when before they're making the spaghetti, he does tell the Warlock, we kind of forgot the strainer for the pasta, so this might be a long day. I was like, so they forgot one thing. That's realistic, at least.
Yeah, like
well, it's like if you've ever gone, I'm sure you guys have gone camping. It's not like you just like pull this out of your ass. I sit there when I'm doing it. I sit there for days, like trying to figure out everything I'm going to need, and then you forget the spaghetti strainer on top of that. But it's not like you just have like this stuff just ready to go. It's like you have to. I mean, to me, this is a situation where they have to go. They have to go to the store, or they have to go. Well, I know the store. They should be eating out. It's like, but I guess it's a typhoon, so they can't leave. But luckily, they're always ready with pancake mix and spaghetti. So so it's good.
Yeah, well, it's also funny because there's a typhoon and all that. It's a supposed typhoon, and of course, the ideal behind Chris there. She wants to leave the next day, regardless. Anyways, remember she says she wants to leave the next day, because she says there's nothing here. She literally says there is nothing here for me. Yeah. There's nothing, so we're just leave the next day, and they stay
for reasons.
And so they stay. Bruce Payne's Warlock stays. It becomes a big party until after they find Mr. Butterfield, Mr. Butterstone, whatever his name is, body, in the attic, and then it becomes there's a warlock in the house, and we have to protect ourselves and get rid of the warlock, and then all the stuff just starts to kind of fall apart even more after that. But you know what? Bruce Payne's playing it up like it's like, hey, it's just another movie for me.
I kind of wish he played it up even more. I wish he'd gone full supervillain and really tore it up, because I feel like he doesn't even really go as far as he should to make this useful. I mean, not useful. I mean, make it really enjoyable. But I don't think he really quite gets there. He almost does when we mentioned earlier when he's doing the ritual and he finally gets a chance to do some cool ritual cultish things, and then he's got Matthew Lawrence's cheek getting cut and goes as much as I like to hear you scream, I really need to concentrate. That's great, but. Yeah, but until then, it's just I could help you with this.
I think he gets to chew more scenery in Howling Six to Freaks than he does in this movie.
Oh gosh, I'll bet that movie's a million times better than this. But yeah, it's there's also another, and another thing that we mention in this every part of this saga. I keep talking about magic and the problems that magic as a story device presents to filmmakers. And again, I feel like this is the one where I didn't bump up against that as much, because of the first couple of movies. First of all, the tone, the genre are totally different. The first two movies are really more action movies. This is the one where they actually hey, let's actually make this a horror movie. Although, like we said, it's probably they weren't even thinking that, because this is probably just a generic haunted house movie before they slapped the word Warlock on it. But it exists within the franchise now, so you have to compare it to the other two now.
Yeah.
And when you look at it compared to the other two, this one's the dark, gothic version of the other two that have so much more humor and so much more wit than this one ever could have. And then they have magic in this, and at no point did I ever really think, okay, what can't the Warlock do? What are his limitations? What he can do all this stuff. What can't he do? And he really doesn't do very much, actually. All he can do is some telekinesis. He can rip people's throats out with his hand, but that's okay. A lot of people can do that anyway without magic. He can create illusions. He makes Ashley Lawrence think that she's outside the house when she's trying to escape and is running in some kind of weird loop. That's a weird thing he does. He can turn people into porcelain, apparently. What else? Am I missing anything? I think it's about it. He's got 4 things he can do. Oh, he can control people if you give him your stuff. Anything. Could be anything. So he's got 5-ish things that he can do. None of which are any of the things that the Warlock could do in the previous movies, flying or make fireballs or any of that stuff. This is it. This is his power set. And at no point was I thinking there's no real anti Warlock thing until the very end of the movie with the doll. Although when Ashley Lawrence finally gets out of his clutches on the altar in that little underground lair, you find out that it's not really the doll. It's the dagger, the magic dagger inside the doll that she uses to stab him. And that's what kills him, question mark? Or at the very least turns him into his true form, which is a gnarly looking goat man, which I thought, oh, that's a cool effect, a cool creature that you see for like 2 seconds, boom, and then he's gone. And then that's it. You know, Ashley Lawrence is free. Ashley Lawrence is like, I know who I am now, and I find this beautiful little thing from my dead friend Robin with a tarot card in it that's, you know, has all this stupid, you know, new age mumbo jumbo in it. And then she just walks alone, which is funny because we think all her friends are dead, but I'm pretty sure Jeremy did not die. Song guy, guitar kid,
yeah,
he got deafened by the Warlock, and then he gave her up because he thought she said, I'd never be alone with him. I could swear, though, we never see him die. So she just leaves at the end, and he's just gone? Question mark? Yeah. No idea. No clue whatsoever. Oh, no. And no car either, because she walks off in the freaking woods.
Hey, that's unfortunate, but that's what happened there.
I guess. I don't know, duder. But like, yeah, it's rough.
Well, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. But it's one of those things that we see a lot of for those really, really like straight to DVD. Let's say straight to VHS sequels to franchises that probably should have never had sequels. Between 976 Evil 2 and stuff like Chud 2 and Prom Night 3 and 4. And you know, because if you didn't realize, Prom Night 3 is a sequel to Prom Night 2, which is not really a sequel to the first Prom Night. It's just slapped the title of Prom Night on them. That's kind of the kind of modus operandi I see this film as. And the quality is due to the fact that you can have millions of dollars to produce the first two Warlocks, and then you have just $1 million to produce this film. So
I don't think they even had that. I think they had like $10,000 pretty much.
I think they had some money, but it'd be hard to say if it had like more than $1 million, just because I don't know budget. I'd have to look into a deep dive of budgets for these Warlock films. Because we discussed the first two, and the first two were theatrical, whereas this one was a straight to video flick. And it was always designed that way. It wasn't designed to be anything else, which is why everything I've said in this conversation involves the fact that I felt like that's what we were going to get. We were getting the ideals of straight to DVD flicks for this one. And so I mean it's a mixed bag. Not even a mixed bag. It's like if it's a sequel, but all of us fans of the first two films were like completely dismissive of this. Dave said he was completely dismissive of it. You didn't see it until a couple days yesterday. And despite the fact that I saw it when it originally came out, I hadn't seen it a second time until like a couple years ago when I finally bought it on VHS before I bought the Vestron Blu-ray set. So this was never a film I ever thought was any good whatsoever. I always knew it existed. I saw it once. I said, and that was about how I took it.
Yeah, it's a thing that exists, really. But it's just like, why does it exist? I mean, I know why it exists, but it shouldn't exist. Well, I feel like the franchise shouldn't have had to have gone off on this level. It shouldn't have. I wish it hadn't ended this way, Kevin. And I tried to go through it, and I tried to give some pizzazz. I tried to find myself, like, to figure out, like, what's a good Schwarzenegger alternator bit for this. And you know what? I couldn't find it. I just couldn't find anywhere to confuse it. I thought I could put it in the fight scene at the end where Ashley Lawrence fights a warlock with magic with a torch and manages to push him into a vat of what you think is blood. It just spatially just appears there. It wasn't there in any of the other shots, but then it's there, and then it just feels like no, it's just like chocolate syrup because it looks like chocolate syrup. I don't know why it's there. Maybe that's what he lived on for 365 years or whatever. Yuck. Or, oh gosh, I just had a terrible thought. Oh, what if that was his toilet for 365 years? Oh!
Hopefully Bruce Payne doesn't listen to this podcast and recognize that you just said that he survived by, shitting in the pit. And he fell in the pit and had the shit and the piss all over him.
Oh, that was poetry the way you said that. There's so much rhyme and onomatopoeia there. Oh, I love it. I love that. The pit. Oh, wow.
The funny thing is, and this is probably one of the reasons why I saw the movie originally in 1999, is probably because I was always a huge fan of Ashley Lawrence, and I actually liked Bruce Payne, and I knew who Bruce Payne was back then in 99. And so that's probably one of the reasons why I saw the movie but never went back to it. It's kind of like Ashley Lawrence showing back up in Hellraiser Inferno. I've seen that twice. I think it's is it Inferno she's in? Shit,
I don't know. All I know is Inferno is the one that Scott Derrickson directed. It was his first movie. That's all I know.
I don't think I think Inferno has Craig Schaefer in it. I think Ashley Lawrence is in the other, the shitty sequel that makes no reference really to her character.
Is it Hellraiser Deader? Is it Deader?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But it was one of those things where I was like, oh, man, the thing is, she was slumming, in my opinion, when she did that. I kind of liked her when she did, like, Lurk in Fear. And, like, it seemed like she had a really good run of some decent straight-to-DVD flicks and some good horror stuff. And then it kind of like she dropped off the face of the planet. I mean, she's done some stuff, But
occasionally I see her
Hellseeker. I had to look it up, everybody. Hellseeker is the one she's in. I knew it wasn't.
Oh, Hellseeker. I was thinking
Hellseeker. And she supposedly is still playing the same Kirsty character, which is me. I've only seen that movie twice, and it never dawned on me at all. I always thought she was playing a different character than Kirsty, but I guess she's playing the same character. See, I have to rewatch
it makes sense. It makes sense. That movie at least makes sense for her to be there. This movie, not so much.
Nah, it's because she's playing too far out of her age range, and this movie is just one of those. Like I said, we were inundated with a ton of straight to video sequels that should have never existed.
Occasionally you'd find a good one, like the Tremors straight to video sequels, like 3 and 5. Like those were good.
7, 8, 9.
Tremors 2, Aftershocks. Man, that was classic.
That's a guilty pleasure. I take that out of the equation. I like the Tremors sequels and the television show. Damn it.
Yeah, see, they're the exception to the rule. They're the exception.
But there are a ton, and we've mentioned them already, a ton of sequels that probably should have never existed. But for some reason, if a movie was successful on video, then the IP owner would think, oh, well, we can make a straight-to-video sequel and make some money. And
we mentioned Darkman, the 2 Darkman straight-to-video sequels.
Yep. So that thankfully, we had, Sam Raimi was still producing those, and he, got that to be able to do those 2 films. And I think they're trying to do a remake / reboot now. So. That's
what I heard. I heard they're going back. So, yes.
But like I said, those type of things were commonplace. Straight to video needed content, and we know that they would spend less money on those. And they would try and make their money up on DVD and video sales, and it worked.
And you know what? Something just occurred to me. I think I heard this somewhere. I don't know if it's true, but I believe it because it sounds true. Which is no reason why you should believe anything if it sounds true. But no, I thought I remembered somewhere, but somebody was talking about the birth of the straight-to-video market in the 80s and the 90s, and somebody I think somewhere said that the company that invented that is Disney, When Disney started doing straight-to-video sequels to their theatrical movies, that's when that market really shot up in the air. That's when that became a household thing and people were aware of. Because up until then, all you had was these little companies that were doing straight-to-video stuff like Full Moon Entertainment. Charles Band and Full Moon Entertainment, his main thing was how he cut costs was that he sold the foreign rights to things, and he said, let's just forget this to theaters and let's go straight to video. And he made an empire out of just that model. And it worked until about 1998, when the quality of his movies, such as it was, started going way down. But yeah, that was a big thing back then. And I think even when I was a kid, or even when I was a teenager, really, I knew that was something that, generally speaking, the straight-to-video the straight-to-video market was just filled with garbage. But occasionally you would find something that was so weird or so out of its way or so obscure or so, like, out of the ordinary that you might find a hidden gem. Like, I mean, it's totally way off topic here, but like one of my favorite straight-to-video sci-fi movies is Circuitry Man. I forget who freaking directed that, but Circuitry Man's a great movie. It's really well done for the budget. It's a Blade Runner knockoff, but it's a really fun Blade Runner knockoff. It's Australian. It's so fun. They even made a straight-to-video sequel to that one too. That sucked, but it was called Plughead Rewired. But if you don't know what that movie is, Google it, guys. You'll have a good time with it, I promise you. But it was the thing, and it was a big thing.
Well, and we had gotten off topic, which is better for this actual episode. But just to mention some of this stuff, because the horror genre was huge in this. The thing was that horror movies would always make more money on video than they would at theatrical release. So we got a ton of horror sequels that no one really asked for, but we got them anyways. And which was, not the same with bigger budget movies. Bigger budget movies that went straight to made the money additionally on video never always got straight to DVD sequels.
No.
Horror films thrived in that market. They thrived, and then whole franchises were born out of straight to video. And all they did was have mostly really cool box art and an interesting concept on the back, and people would rent them. I have to look in more research with the whole Disney thing, because Disney didn't really like to put their sequels so much on DVDs, which is why it's so hard to find some of their shit. They used to make people do Disney Channel, so it's kind of hard to see that. And then of course their main movies they would keep bringing in and out of the vaults every fucking 5 to 10 years, and so that would make them a shit ton of money. But
I can't remember also because some of these became cult classics in their own right. Like, was Return of the Living Dead 3 straight to video thing?
Yes.
Okay, so now that has become a cult classic in and of its own right.
Yeah, well, because it's considered the best sequel in the entire franchise. So,
which is not saying much.
Well, yeah, it's not saying much. But yes, the first 2 went theatrical, the third one, and the rest of them, I think there's like 5 more went straight to video. But the third one is the one everyone talks about, because it was gory. It was Romeo and Juliet as a zombie flick, and it had a really hot actress at the top of her career, start of her career, as the main zombie.
And she had a very iconic look. It looked good on the poster.
Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Most of these franchises would not exist without it. Hellraiser wouldn't exist. They stopped after 4, and then the rest of them dominated straight to video franchise. It's what keeps us as horror fans satiated until a remake, reboot, legacy sequel comes along, which was not in the eyes of anyone back in the 90s. So we got sequels that had nothing to do with the original ones, which is where Warlock 3 End of Innocence came from. You may not have asked for it. I'm guaranteeing no one did. But you get the opportunity to expand on these IPs and a studio who has the money for it. And then we get this. And if it had been successful, I guaranteed you would have seen another one like Witchcraft 25 or whatever number Witchcraft
25.
I don't know. I know there's a lot of witchcraft movies.
There were, and I think part of the reason that is because the Witchcraft franchise, from what I understand, I never actually watched them, is basically softcore porn horror, and softcore porn is always going to have a place, I guess, because
yeah,
it's what it is. But like for this franchise,
but
Mr.
this
Kevin L.
franchise,
Powers, for this franchise, I think that Mr. Bruce Payne and his interpretation of this character got a raw deal. Yeah. I really do. I feel like he should have gotten another shot in a just universe. He should have gotten at least one other shot at this character, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 5 other shots at this character. Because, like I said, I couldn't find a good Schwarzenegger alternator for this, but I did find several good ideas for what if this movie had been a hit on video and they made more Warlock movies with his Warlock in it. And I would call this franchise this for Warlock. Usually we do this, ladies and gentlemen, where we imagine what other movies in this franchise if it kept going. We usually do this for the Conversations in Hammer podcast, where if we find a horror movie that should have gotten a franchise but didn't, what would that look like? We did this most famously, most successfully with the Sometimes They Come Back franchise, which is a franchise, improbably a franchise. But I don't know if this will be as good as that. But I think there would have been a cool chance because like with this, I feel like Bruce Payne, he's like that one Doctor Who guy who was only on for like the American pilot. Or like George Lazenby, who was Bond for one movie and that was it. This poor guy got one shot and he didn't get any others. I feel like we should give him some other ideas for some more Warlock movies starring the incomparable Bruce Payne, who's still alive. Sad for Julian Sands, rest in peace. But Bruce Payne's still on this earth, and Bruce Payne could still come back and do it. So here I go, Mr. Powers, and the now late Dave Watkins. I'm sorry to say that Mr. Watkins has been sucked into a parallel dimension, and I don't think he'll be joining us for the rest of this conversation. However, he sent me a message from the beyond. He said he sent his rating for this movie, which we'll get into after this after this journey into an alternate universe, a universe where there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 more Warlock sequels. Are you ready for this, Kevin?
No, I'm not, but go ahead.
So, after Warlock, The End of Innocence becomes a startling success on VHS and DVD, it would follow it up with maybe another straight-to-video sequel called Warlock, End of Eternity. This time, a nerdish yet sexy professor discovers the Warlock's plans to travel through time, gathering magical, powerful items from different historical figures throughout time in an effort to make himself a god. Starring Bruce Payne and Christopher Lambert and Ashley Lawrence reprising her role for Warlock, End of Eternity, a sci-fi horror extravaganza directed by Russell Mulcahy.
That was actually good.
Yeah, it's basically just the first movie, but with a bigger canvas and more time travel.
Oh my God, Christopher Lambert and Russell.
Of course, Christopher Lambert would do a straight-to-video sequel to a movie he never even watched.
So many straight-to-video films is ridiculous. Go ahead.
Yes, can you imagine? It would have been great. And you follow that up with Warlock, The End of Originality. This one's literally just a remake of the original, except with Bruce Payne and even more special effects.
That's a good one.
And then the next one would be Date with a Warlock. This one starts off like an early 90s rom-com, but then bam, she finds out he's a warlock and he's trying to get out of his deal with the devil by sacrificing his new girlfriend, who turns out to be, gasp, his long-lost daughter. Ooh.
Okay.
That's actually one of my own ideas for a movie, Kevin.
Dude, I thought you were riffing on Date with an Angel, is what I thought you were riffing on.
You know what? It kind of, sort of. I actually have an idea that's even worse. That is actually a riff on Date with an Angel. that's also kind of like weird science. I'll talk to you about that off air because I really like it. But yeah, so Date with the Warlock, which by the way, it's a great title. We follow that up with, of course, every franchise goes this direction, where we have the grudge match era of Warlock, where we have Bruce Payne starring in Warlock versus Leprechaun. We just go right back to Ireland, and Warlock and Leprechaun are both vying for the same emerald shamrock in order to rule the earth. And follow that up, of course, with Warlock versus Pinhead, because we've had so many Hellraiser references in the saga. Why not just have Pinhead, Doug Bradley, come by for one day, do some chains versus magic fire? Boom! You don't even have to do it. You can do it to the end of the movie. Last 15 minutes. Total Warlock versus Pinhead grudge match.
Yeah, we had to bring back Ashley Lawrence's curse.
She comes back one more time. One more time. And then twist at the end of the movie, she gets turned into a Cenobite.
Oh my god.
Dun, dun, dun. And finally, of course, Warlock versus Warlock, where we have an inevitable Marvel Cinematic Universe crossover, where Bruce Payne's Warlock fights Adam Warlock, played, of course, by Will Poulter from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. But we don't stop there, Kevin. No. We have one more. We don't stop there. Surprise crossover sequel, and before Dave mentioned this, he kind of set me up for it with the surprise crossover nobody asked for or wanted, Amityville Warlock, where Bruce Payne wants to retire and live a quiet life and leave his magical past behind. So he moves to the comfortable town of Amityville and inherits the Amityville house and does battle with demons, because now he's a good warlock. You know, he's taken the Godzilla trajectory where he starts off as a bad guy. Now he's a good guy.
We can dress him up in white, unlike what he's dressed up in this movie, which is complete black and the exact same outfit in the 1600s as he is now. Which doesn't look period at all.
No, they did not have black leather pants back in the 1600s, people. I'm sorry. That did not exist.
Oh my God.
And that's all I got, I promise.
Dude, I think this is the best one of those you've done.
Oh, really?
I do. Oh my, I was like, dreading what you were going to come up with for freaking Warlock. And I think this is by far the best one you have come up with.
Oh, thank you. I would quit well out of my head, but really I have to betray you because there was one more.
What's the one more?
The one more was, by this time, we've ended up in the early 2000s, the 2015s now, in this alternate timeline where Warlock's become a venerable franchise. So, of course, there's the inevitable reboot, which would be helmed by an up-and-coming young director named Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers, Warlock. Can you imagine Robert Eggers doing a Warlock movie? And there was no time travel. No time travel. It's all in the 16th century.
No, that's what I was about to say. I was like, I think his would be actually pretty cool. He would do all like we mentioned earlier, the television show version that would just be in the 1600s. I think he could do that and make it a cool ass movie. Like just that.
Yep.
Wow. Oh my God, that's hilarious, dude. Oh my God. I don't think I could get these out of my head. Amityville Warlock.
Amityville Warlock.
Oh, I still like the Warlock versus Warlock too. So
Warlock versus Warlock. Yes.
I think the franchise. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. This is you outdid yourself with this one.
Thank you, Kevin. I wasn't sure, but I appreciate it. And and when we finally get Dave out of his time warp that he's in, we'll tell him all about it because he missed out.
He did miss out. Okay. So with that, I do want to thank you both for joining us on this conversation, which we did Warlock 3, The End of Innocence, and all of the Warlock films in this franchise. It's been a lot of fun, and so we do hope, audience, that you enjoyed our conversations, despite whether or not you actually enjoyed the films we are talking about, which brings us to our next part, which is rating the films. Now, what we love to do is we love to rate the films between 1 and 5, 1 being poor, 5 being absolutely amazing. But what we like to do is take a object, quote, or saying from the film to attribute to our rating. Thomas, since you have Dave's rating, I'm gonna let you do that. So if he gave you a rating and what he wants to attribute to that rating, please let us know first before we do yours.
Hold on, let me channel the great beyond. All of a sudden, I have some psychic abilities that I just discovered just now. I didn't tell anybody about this, but I just now figured it out. I can hear him in the other dimension. He's like right behind me in a different dimension. I could hear it. He's saying, what is he saying? He's saying something obscene. I won't repeat it. But then he's saying, ugh. Okay. Dave, focus. We can hear you. Focus. Okay. All right. Dave Watkins is saying he gives this movie. Woo, he really doesn't like this. All right. Anyway, so he's saying 1.5 doll talismans out of 5.
What?
And honestly, thank you, Dave. We'll try and get you out wherever you are. But anyway, so yeah, as for me, you know what? I think I concur with my extra dimensional colleague. I was going to be a little more generous to this movie. I was going to give it a 2, but now that I've really dived into it with you and really like chewed it over and processed some of the trauma of it, I think I'm going to also give it 1.5. But I'm going to give it 1.5 porcelain witch Britney Spears fingers out of 5. Because it's kind of a good metaphor for the movie too. It's this little piece of fragile, occult looking art that's broken. And it's just there's and I give it a 1.5 because it does have some good sequences that are interesting, like that sequence where the shattered Britney Spears witch occurs, and of course there's like the mirror sequence that happens in the beginning. There's some of the camera setups are interesting. Of course, Ashley Lawrence is interesting to watch. Bruce Payne's interesting to watch. It's just a thing that just doesn't need to exist. But 1.5, I think, is what it deserves. It's not so bad that it's not like The Room bad. It's not Ed Wood level bad. It's just bad. So 1.5 is all I can give it from this broken piece of porcelain finger.
No, I concur. I was going to give it 1.5 myself, but let me give it 1.5 cliched broken down cars when the cars are perfectly fine in the beginning of the film. Like I cannot stress how much clarity you guys brought to this conversation for me in this film when you mentioned a haunted house film. I was like, holy shit. That would explain so much stupidity in a lot of the stuff that happens in this film for me. So despite the fact that I think Ashley Lawrence did a great job as her performance with the really shitty script, and Bruce Payne didn't get enough scenery to chew, like in Howling Six to Freaks. I never thought I would ever bring that up in a conversation. Or Passenger 57, where he is just one of the best bad guys that Wesley Snipes has ever gotten to fight and battle with, because he has such great scenes. But this film, I just like the sequels are so good that you came up with, because it would have given him a lot more to do. And I wish those sequels had existed, dude. But they don't exist.
I would love to have seen him run around fighting Christopher Lambert in like the 1700s.
Oh my god, that would be so awesome. Man, I love our conversations on this show. With that, I do hope everyone listening had a blast listening to us conversate about this film that I know there is no one out there who actually thinks it's a really good movie. Even the actors in the film, I doubt, think this is a good movie, but just a stepping stone on a career. We do hope that you did enjoy our conversation, though. Please make sure to check out all the other episodes that we've done this month on franchises, because we have a blast doing these each year for you and going through these horror franchises, because it's the only time we get to talk about the lesser talked about sequels like this one. All right. From all of us here, Something Wicked Entertainment, make sure to like, follow, share, do that thing you do with your favorite podcast or your favorite podcast app. Spotify, or YouTube. And please make sure to check out our other podcast, Conversations in Hammer Studio Horrors, in which we discuss the amazing oeuvre that is the 60s, 70s, and 80s Hammer Studio films. From all of us, have a pleasant day, and just stay out of those haunted houses that have warlocks trapped in the basement trying to do sacrifices on little kitties. All right?
Abracadabra.
Broken the House. Take 3. Conversations in Horror is a Broken Lighthouse Pictures production. Written, produced, and directed by Kevin L. Powers. Executive producer, Kelly A. Inoka.